Hello, everybody. This is Justin from Breakout Capital Ventures. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into 3 shares, and joining me is Alan Green to discuss those. Welcome, Alan.
Hello, Justin. Nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. First one we're going to start with is MDH, which is Mendell Helium. I've got the chart up here. I think it's an Aquis listed stock. And as you see, it hasn't got an awful lot of trading data there. It's sort of, struggling to break out of this range down here. But we've had a spike up in sort of June 25 up to 9.9 pence. I've got a target there of 10.29 up to 12.748, which, that's an awful lot of potential reward there on offer. So, Alan, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, your target price, I think, is absolutely well justified, Justin. Mendell Helium, of course, previously was Voyager Life, and the company pivoted. Last year. Still has an element of investment in Voyager Life and will receive sort of benefits as a shareholder in the new company that owns that operation. But it's all about helium. And Mendell is about to move to AIM. It's about to move from Aquis to AIM on 30th of September. And at that point, it'll also RTO into M3 Helium. And of course, the enlarged shareholding will issue something like 57 million shares to M3 Helium shareholders. So why M3 Helium? It's got interest in 10 wells in southwest Kansas, of which 5 are in production, and 8 of the company's wells are within the Hugoton gas field, which is one of the largest natural gas fields in North America. Not only that, these wells are also in the proximity of what the company refers to as a gathering network, which is basically a network of pipes and connections. And they're all connected to the Scout Energy Jayhawk gas processing plant. Mendell already have an agreement with, they have a farming agreement with Scout Energy to collect the helium and get the helium processed. The ninth well on the company's asset base is the Rost well, which is in Fort Dodge. It's a stone's throw away from Dodge City, of course, the famous Dodge City in Kansas. Now, Rost well is already producing gas flow with 5.1% helium, a maximum flow rate of 2,900 barrels per day. So you can do the math on that. We know what helium sells for. That's going to generate an awful lot of cash every month for the company. The 10th well, the Broby, is a disposal well. When you pump helium out, you basically pump the water out of the well, and that obviously releases the gas. Broby has been authorized to receive 5,000 barrels of water per day, and obviously that will basically facilitate the production of gas from the Ross well. M3 and Mendell are developing a Bitcoin mining operation alongside this. And of course, the Bitcoin treasury policy has been put in place by the company. The Bitcoin mining operation is based at the Jasper well in Nebraska. There's a fiber optic cable on site as well. And the company is currently drilling that well to assess it for its suitability to drive a Bitcoin mining operation.
Wow.
From the Bitcoin standpoint, the company is onboarded with BitGo for its Bitcoin treasury management. So in summary, completion of the M3 acquisition, moved to AIM at the end of this month. That's literally a few weeks away. It's already producing and selling helium, and it's got unrivaled access to that production facility at the Scout Jayhawk processing plant. And just really to put this in context, the market cap of Mendell is currently 2.8 million.
Wow.
You look at its 4 competitors. Helium One, market cap of 21 million. Helix Exploration, market cap of 49 million. Georgina Energy, market cap of nearly 7 million. Pulsar Helium, market cap of 35 million. Now, none of these companies are as close as Mendell is to producing helium. So I think your 10.25p price target there, Justin, is very well justified.
Yeah, conservative almost, isn't it? Compare that to Hex or GEX. I mean, or Pulsar, which is, as you say, that's 35 million. And we're talking sub 3 million market cap. Why do you think it's so cheap? Is that just down to the fact it's Aquis listed, or is it just a little bit unknown? Or it seems crazy, doesn't it? It's just probably outside the the scope of investors' interest, or they've not heard of it.
We investors are starting to wake up to it now. I mean, we look after the company, and we are the PR sort of to the company. And with companies like this, Aquis, some companies on Aquis do struggle, and I think because of the switch from the previous entity Voyager Life to Mendell, maybe hasn't. The company's operations haven't yet registered with shareholders, but once Roswell is up and running and is producing cash, I mean, up to $100,000 a month, it's going to really put the cat amongst the pigeons. But that's just one of so many other wells that the company will have access to develop, and not only will it be able to develop the wells, it can plug them straight into this Jayhawk processing plant based on the farming agreement with Scout Energy.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, isn't it? It's a sub £3 million. As we've seen before with these, especially with these helium plays, have been particularly popular with investors. They can sort of go anywhere. So whilst I've got a 10p, 10.2 to 12.7, it could go an awful lot higher than that. So certainly the fundamentals align with the chart. So definitely one for people to take a look at and do some further research on that. So that's superb. I think we can go to the next one if we go to KDNC. And this one here is, if I just get that up, KDNC. And this one here, this is a really good chart from my perspective. I'm going to flip to the weekly chart because, from my point of view, this is in a very long-term downtrend. It's been look at this. I mean, it's started its downtrend back in sort of August 2013. It's been sort of all the way down to here, where it's within my blue box reversal zone, which is a great sign. We should expect a bounce at least to the upside, and I've got a conservative target here. We're sort of at the bottom of that blue box, which is, that's offering an absolutely fantastic entry. And it's a long-term reversal play. I've got an initial target here of 10.2 to 12.6. And I think that's an initial target, and we should get probably more upside in the longer term on that one. So I don't know much about it, actually. It's a good stock. I think that they've had some news out just recently. I know you did an interview with the company, and things are transforming. To an income producer. So just tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, you're right, Justin. I mean, we've worked with Cadence for many years, known the Akira Mazzara there, the chief executive, for a number of years. Now, they acquired the key flagship asset, if you like, the Amapa iron ore mine in 2018. And the mine was in administration. So they've gone through a long and protracted process getting the mine out of administration, working with the local authorities. The Amapa iron ore mine and infrastructure is absolutely huge. I mean, the scale is mind-boggling. It was formerly owned by Anglo American and then Clough Energy, Clough Mining rather. Now, Anglo American valued Amapa alone on their books in 2012 at $600 million US. And that's before all of the work that has now been done to them at the mine has been done. Now the Amapa iron ore mine is a vast iron ore mine. It has a railway line which is 135 kilometers long, and that is to transport the mine to the port of Santana in northeast Brazil. Cadence Minerals owns 35.7% of the entire operation. So if you just base that on the old valuation, we are eons ahead in terms of valuation of where the company is now. Amapa itself has got a JORC compliant mineral resource of 276 million tons at 38% iron Fe, and also proven and probable iron ore reserves of 195.8 million tons at 39.3% Fe. The company's recently completed an updated PFS that reports a post-tax net present value of just under $2 billion. Cadence obviously have worked with the team to develop and bring the mine back into production. What they're doing, the company recently announced that it had worked through the mining costs and was able to reduce those mining costs by 37%, which is a huge reduction by any standards. Now, as with all of these mines, to get things back up and running, they need to commission a pilot plant. They've had visits recently from off-takers looking at the iron ore, looking at what's on site, and also the infrastructure on site. So they are raising $4.6 million to commission what they refer to as the Azteca plant. And once this is commissioned, it'll be up and running next year. It's going to generate 380,000 tons of iron ore per month for 3 years, which will mean $14 million in free cash flow every year for the next 3 years. Now, Cadence will contribute up to 15% of that investment, and it will earn pro rata from those shipments. That free cash flow that's going to be generated will complete the larger AMAPA DFS. That's the definitive feasibility study, and that will contain all the recommendations to get the plant back up and running. It'll also pay for the licensing and the permits which are in the process of being completed at the moment. Now, over the years, we've had a number of broker notes. Edison have published a number of notes citing valuations for AMAPA alone of 27 to 28p per share. Zeus, the house broker, have just put out a broker note citing based on the developments with the Azteca plant, and also, of course, that contributed to the recent jump in the share price. Zeus have a price target of 21.8 pence. So
Wow.
I think as you pointed out, Justin, your initial target up there at 10 to 12p, that's going to be the start of the process. And let's not forget, the company also has other investments. It has 8.74% of ASX listed Evergreen Lithium, EG1. They're currently working on the Leonora Goldfields project and the Bino Lithium project, which is close to the Core Lithium's Finniss project in Central Australia. They also have 30% stake in Megalit. That's the Sonora Lithium project in Mexico, but those assets are currently in dispute with the Mexican government, so those aren't booked per se at the moment. But
Yeah.
I think you can see, just with AMAPA alone, we are many times ahead of the current valuation on a fundamental basis alone.
So what's the current market cap of KDNC?
It's about 6 million.
6 million, and it's going to be producing free cash flow of nearly 15 million.
Yes. So my apologies. Currently 8 million. Currently
It's
8 million.
Wow.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, this re-rate really is, well, it's not even got started, has it? From my perspective, I would expect it to at least go to the top of that blue box there at 5.88, and from there, it might get a bit of sellers as you expect, but then they're 10.2. But as I say, what I like about it the most is the fact that if we go back, we've sort of we were over 100p, weren't we? Over 200 pence. So you would really expect, in terms of technical charting, at least probably 50, 60 pence in the longer term. So it's not going to get there straight away, but I think for a longer term hold, and the fact the company are going to be producing 15 million, they've got other projects that are going to come online. It's a really exciting one. I think that's definitely one that investors should be researching, and it doesn't get much better than that, does it? £8 million market cap, £15 million, well, $15 million, I assume that is, of revenue. So that's fantastic, isn't it? So the other thing which I like about these ones which we talked about today is that if you look on the boards, there's not a lot of talk about them. There's not much talk of KDNC. There wasn't much talk of MDH. And those are the ones that produce the best returns. It's not always the ones that have got the most noise. The ones with most noise are the ones where that's the most traders on board. The ones where people aren't talking about them, that's where you make some serious money, and without anybody really noticing, which I think is great.
Well, I think that's it. And of course, all good stocks like this are backed by companies in the transition phase. And with an operation the size of a mapper, obviously it takes years to get something like that recommissioned and back into production. But with the Azteca plant, they've really fast-tracked that process, and we're going to really see, I believe, an acceleration in news flow in the coming months, and that's going to really start to engage with investors again. And with those near-term timeframes as well, I think those targets will be reached easily. It's a really exciting phase for the company.
Yeah, as I said, for me, that's sort of an initial target, and as news flow starts to come out, obviously nothing goes in a straight line. I think there'll be a lot more targets as the month and years pass by. So yeah, that's another fantastic one. I think we move to Hamak Gold is our last one for today, and this one here is a popular share, and I just flip back to my daily chart. So this one here, it's had an absolute stellar run there. You went from down here all the way up to 7.5 pence. Sort of had a bit of consolidation, bit of profit taking, which is perfectly normal. I had a few red candles just of late, but I've got a red box down there, which could come into play. I don't think it will, but you never know. So I think that's a risk for investors to bear in mind. But as I said, breaking a hold above 7.05 pence should bring us up to this red box here at 10.3, up to 12.3, and possibly up to 14.7. Because with these, I think it's a gold stock together with a bit of a treasury play. So they've been massively popular. So it could go up to 14.7, possibly higher. Not restricting it to that. But tell us a little bit about Hammer.
This is a really interesting company, and I think I think it's gone through a transition over the past few months, which has seen a new board come in, and also the adoption of a Bitcoin treasury policy, which has been instrumental in changing the fortunes of the company. So Hamak owns the Nimba license in northern Liberia. It's close to the Ivory Coast border, and also close to the 5 billion ounce IT gold mine on the border there. The company's got a joint venture with ASX listed First AU Limited, FAU is the EPIC code, and that fully funds the drilling and development of the Nimba project. Now, the agreement with First AU is that a series of payments are being made to Hamak Gold for First AU to come in as the operator of the Nimba asset. The company's just received a stage one payment of 250,000 Australian dollars and also 1 million shares in First AU Limited. 2 holes have been completed, 2 holes of a 3,000 meter drill program, and obviously we're waiting for further news on those assays and also the grades from the holes. But very exciting developments there, and we're going to hear more about the Nimba project shortly. But there's the other asset or the other aspect to the company. In July, the company raised 2.5 million quid at 0.8p. Now, this raise included investments from the investment arm of Sheikh Nayef bin Ayed Al Thani. He's a member of the Qatari royal family. That money was raised to advance exploration, fund new projects, and also to develop the Bitcoin treasury policy. At the same time, 2 former directors left, 2 directors joined. One of them was Nick Thurlow. Nick Thurlow has worked with Sheikh Al Thani previously in his role as Chief Finance Officer at MBS Global. So the connections there obviously have hugely benefited Hamak immediately. And also James Lawrence has come into the company as well. And James also has a great deal of experience sort of within finance and industry. So on the Bitcoin treasury front, the company's appointed Dr. Arthur Laffer and Brittany Kaiser to head an advisory board. And this advisory board will help Hamak to work with institutional and professional investors providing structured, professionally managed exposure to Bitcoin and also, of course, the digital asset space. Now, I think a word of Brittany Kaiser here. I mean, Brittany Kaiser is a digital tour de force. In fact, she's not just a tour de force, she's a magnum force in regard to, and she's a global authority on digital asset rights, data, and blockchain technology. Brittany is the co-founder of American Bitcoin. That's NASDAQ-listed American Bitcoin, Epicode ABTC, and she's also chief executive at Alpha Tom, also NASDAQ-listed Epicode ATON. So in summary, Hamak are fully funded from that fundraise, and they're in pole position to fully exploit and extract value from their Nimble license, also receiving, of course, these stage payments from First AU Limited, and of course, to fully exploit their Bitcoin treasury strategy too. So I think they're very well placed for a move higher.
Yeah, I've heard as well as there's potential for, obviously there's the Bitcoin strategy, but there's also potential for other JVs to come into place. So
Yep.
There's potential, a lot of news due from Hamak Gold over the coming weeks and months. So as I say, I don't think that bottom red box is going to come into play. One to bear in mind, but as I say, it's got a lot of retail support behind it. Breaking hold above that, excuse me, yeah, it should bring us into that red box there at the top. So one to pop on the watch list. I think that'll do us for today, Alan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Justin. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, well.